This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor.
Hello. So today we're going to talk about Netflix, Cuties, and controversy. Should be interesting. But first, a word from our sponsor. And today that sponsor is you. As you know, I have set up a new subscription service through buymeacoffee.com. And the address is buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap. And it's $5 a month or $50 a year for some extra little goodies that I've put up there. Things like transcripts when I make them, opportunities to chat with me, opportunities for longer consultations with me, access to a private Facebook group, etc. And of course, I am open for any other suggestions you might have that you would like to see behind the little paywall. Anyway, let's go on and let's get started here. So you may or may not heard of the recent controversy surrounding the French movie that was released on Netflix entitled Cuties. Now, I'm going to talk about the controversy and not really talk about the movie much, but just to give you a basic overview. Netflix found this movie from France called Cuties. Don't know all the details. I saw the deal was worked out before it even hit the Sundance Film Festival. So they had planned for distributing it on Netflix. So it was there. It's been there for a while. Don't know why they chose this movie. I couldn't find a reason. I couldn't find anything behind the mentality of what they were expecting to do with this movie other than release it on Netflix. Now, this movie initially started controversy with the cover art that was posted on Netflix being of a bunch of 11-year-olds in fairly skin-tight clothing that were in fairly sexualized dance poses. And it stirred up a lot of controversy, just that poster. And after a little while, they decided, hey, okay, that's fine. We're sorry that poster was not appropriate. We'll take it down and replace it. And they replaced it with the original French poster, which was much, much, much less controversial or anything like that. Fairly normal. Bunch of girls looked like they had just come back from shopping or something like that. No big deal. So the controversy died off for a little bit. And then the movie was released on, I do believe it was September 10th. And initially, Netflix actually had a spike in subscriptions. Subscriptions went up because I think people want to see what this movie was about, what the controversy was about. Was it really as bad and sexualizing little girls as badly as they said from the poster, etc., etc., etc.? And after that, people saw it. A lot of people didn't like it. Some liked it. More that I've seen, more reviews were negative, and it became controversial. And then Netflix doubled down on the controversy, defended their decision to release the film, defended the film, despite all the backlash and the controversy surrounding it. Now, I haven't seen the movie, do not plan on seeing the movie. Just from the reviews and stuff I read, it's very controversial, and I can understand both sides, why people defend it and why people attack it, etc. And yeah, it was probably not the smartest move. Because here's the upshot. The movie in and of itself has probably been seen a lot more times than it would have ever been seen without the controversy. A lot of times, if you have a product or service, I've talked about this before, and if you can stir up some controversy around it, you might be able to get more people interested in it. This is especially true with creative productions, movies, plays, books, content in general. If you can come up with something that's controversial, people will watch it or listen to it or read it or whatever just because it's controversial, because they want to see for themselves. And it's a great way to drive eyeballs to your product or service or your content, whatever that might be. Here's the problem though. How far do you let this controversy go before you do something about it? And do you wait and see if the net effect is positive or negative before you do anything? Do you double down on it? Do you do one of the lessons I learned in that book I talked about, Great Military Blunders, and double down and reinforce disaster? Or do you cut your losses if it's a loss? Or do you keep pushing the controversy if it's working for you? Where's that line? And it's anyone's guess. Quite honestly, it's a dangerous game to play. You can play with it with your company, and sure, Netflix is a massive behemoth company, and they've been around for a long time. They've put their competitor Blockbuster down, so yeah, they can take a hit without going under. But can they really at this point? They might be able to. They might ride the storm out. But let's take a quick look. Initially, they had a bump, but after this movie dropped, a lot of people started posting online hashtag cancel Netflix. And it was number one on trending for a while, and it's been spreading around. I've seen it all over the internet, cancel Netflix, and it's having an effect. They've had 8 times more cancellations than normal. So far, there seems to be a corresponding drop in stock price, but it's not a huge amount, 3-ish%, 3-4%, not huge, but still, it's a drop off. It becomes what I was referencing to it. How dangerous of a game are they playing? And could this be a straw that breaks the camel's back? Or could it just be a momentary blip? Or could it be just one more straw in a pile of straws that's building up to break their back? I really don't know what the outcome of this will be long term. In the short term, it's not looking good. A lot of people have canceled. And the problem here is if Netflix did this years ago before there was any real competition to streaming services, then it would have been a blip in the long-term thing. They were more or less monopoly. They were the only game in town. And yeah, they would be fine. Thing is, about controversy, you might stir up a lot of controversy and stir up a lot of focus on your company, but you could also open yourself to attack from competitors, and you could open up some vulnerabilities that you might not expect. And you also have to look at the market that you're in and how much competition is out there and what could happen. And now Netflix is in shark-infested waters when it comes to streaming services. There are multiple streaming services now, and the biggest one now is Disney Plus. He owns Fox, which owned Hulu, So now Disney has not only all their titles, all the Fox titles. Disney owns Marvel, which is all the Marvel titles, and with Hulu being owned as well, they have another massive streaming service they now control. So they are a big, great white shark now in the streaming service world. And of course, you have Amazon Prime doing streaming and smaller ones. Here in Norway, we have a massive one called Viaplay. There's a lot of people gunning for the streaming service market. Now, granted, Netflix did look long term and saw this would be coming and did plan on and is creating their own Netflix exclusive content, which is very smart. And I will be talking about that in a future podcast, talking about the long game. So that's very smart, and that might be what saves them. But when it comes to competition, if their original content is not good enough to keep people coming back just for that, and they've now upset a very large section of the populace that watches their stuff, it may hurt them in the long run. Now, again, this is a hot topic right now. It's controversial right now. Hey, they could come out of this as a huge bump. They could get a lot more subscribers, and they could have a big jump in stock price, etc. Because it's controversy. It got eyes on them. People are looking at them. People are going to subscribe just to see what this movie's all about, etc. And it could help them. But in the long run, we'll see how it plays out. And I have a feeling it might hurt them a little bit. This might be an opening for Disney to jump in and say, well, we have very family friendly streaming here, and we're less expensive. And that could hurt. There's a lot of sharks, like I said, blood in the water. This could just be blood in the water. And personally, we are giving up Netflix, not just because of controversy, although honestly, we were not pleased with it, but we were already planning on just doing Disney Plus because it's a lot less expensive and it's got a lot more family friendly stuff. And so we're moving to Disney Plus. We get all the stuff we like, kids' movies, Marvel films, a lot of other stuff. And we don't have to worry about the huge price. Not that Netflix is a huge price, but the price is enough of a difference for us to have switched. So, again, controversy can be your friend. It can also stab you in the back, just like it did with that, just like it has been with the NFL and the NBA. And I don't think they thought they were stirring up controversy, and I don't think they really thought about trying to get people to come to them because of controversy. But they are allowing the controversy to continue and doubling down on this stuff, this political stuff, this controversy, instead of backing away from it and letting it just be about sports or just being about razors or just being about whatever. Controversy, yeah, it can be good for a little while. But then in the long run, it's usually not going to help you out in the long run. Now, of course, you might have controversy come into your product or service no matter what, just because that's the nature of life. Things happen, of course. And there'll be a time maybe where you need to choose to stand by your principles or change something because of controversy or something like that. Of course, it happens. However, my personal opinion is do what you can to avoid controversy. If something pops up like this that becomes controversial and a lot of people are upset, don't double down on it, especially if you start taking a hit in numbers. And if it's something as simple as removing a movie from your platform or changing the way you do something that's minor, that's fine. It doesn't go against your core company morals, your core value system, and your core principles. Don't change those. Stay with those all the way through. I will leave with that. I do hope to see you on buymeacoffee.com. I'm looking forward to get to know you guys and have a little bit more information. And another thing that you can do if you become a subscriber is suggest episodes, suggest topics that you would like to hear me discuss. And I will hear you out and see what I can do. Anyway, you all have a great day. Have a fun weekend. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Remember to get your free half-hour consultation by using our contact page and the links below. If you found value in this content, please give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. It is very helpful if you share this with your friends. If you'd like to directly support this podcast, I have a few donation links in the description, or you can check out the show sponsors. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, which is an Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. For our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, which is hosted by Jason St. Clair. Our past episodes and related blogs, you can check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com or atheoz.com. Remember, you can also check us out on the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group, where you can interact with me and other people who are bootstrappers and entrepreneurs. The link is in the description. Come check us out. I would love to interact with you. And until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. See you later.